Howdy, howdy, pirates! We are back for another chapter in A Crazy Day with Cobras. Now, we are getting really close to the end of our story with Jack and Annie, and it's getting pretty exciting. Now, they got the gold or the emerald rose, didn't they? Now, let's see what happens in our next chapter, okay, guys? I want you guys to think about this, okay? What is a major event? Something super special that happens in our reading today. Okay, so I want you guys to think about that as you sit back and listen. All right, guys, here we go. Next chapter, Caught in the Wild. Instantly, the straw carriage felt small and cramped. Jack and Annie sat up and looked at each other. "We're big again," said Annie. "Yeah," said Jack, dazed. "Where's the emerald?" said Annie. Jack opened his bag. The jewel looked tiny again, but it was there. "No problem, I have it," he said. It was kind of fun being so little, wasn't it?" said Annie. "Yeah, until we nearly got killed by the humongous, super scary snakes," said Jack. "Thanks for saving us, Morning Breeze," called Annie. She reached out from the carriage and patted the elephant's wrinkled skin on top of her head. "Yeah, thanks," said Jack. Morning Breeze made a trumpet sound and swayed from side to side as she tramped through the low, scratchy grass. "I wonder where she's going," said Jack. The elephant slowed down. She sniffed the air with the tip of her trunk. Then she stopped near a clump of bushes and made a low, purring sound. A snuffling noise came from behind the bushes. Branches and leaves shook and then parted. "Oh, wow!" breathed Annie. What do you guys think it might be? A baby elephant bumbled out into the open. He had a fuzzy head and bright, shiny eyes. Morning Breeze lowered herself onto her knees. She stretched out her trunk and stroked her baby. The little elephant nuzzled against her. "So that's why Morning Breeze had to escape the fort," said Annie. "When they captured her in the wild, they took her away from her baby. She was desperate to get back to him." "Yeah," said Jack, "and after she found him, she came back to us." Annie climbed out of the straw carriage and carefully slid down the elephant's back. Jack followed her. Annie patted the elephant's back. "I guess you'll be staying here now that you've found your baby." Jack rubbed his hand over Morning Breeze's skin. Her huge wrinkled body smelled of grass and heat and trees. The elephant actually looked as if she was smiling. "I don't think you need to wear this stuff anymore," said Annie. She reached up and lifted the rope of silver bells off of the elephant's neck. The bells jangled as Annie dropped them into the grass. "Or this," said Jack. He took the fringed cloth off of the elephant's head. "And especially this," said Annie. Together, Jack and Annie unbuckled the strap that held the straw carriage in place on Morning Breeze's back. They pulled the carriage off and set it in the grass. "Doesn't that feel better?" said Jack. Morning Breeze stared at Jack and Annie. Her eyes were bright and clear. She trumpeted and rose to her full height. "Before you go, can we pet your baby?" asked Annie. The large elephant didn't seem to mind as Annie reached out and stroked the baby elephant. "Whoa," Annie said. "Pet him, Jack." Jack rubbed his hand slowly over the baby's head. The elephant's fuzzy hair felt coarse and tickly. Jack laughed. "Enjoy being home in the wild again, Annie said to Morning Breeze. "Jack and I have to go back to our home." There's Morning Breeze and her baby. Isn't that awesome? "Thanks, Morning Breeze," said Jack. "Good luck." "We love you," said Annie. Morning Breeze flapped her ears and waved her trunk at them. Then she turned and lumbered off with her baby at her heels. The two of them kicked up grass and dirt as they disappeared into the brush. "Wow," said Annie. "Yeah," said Jack. Annie turned to Jack and laughed. "We look like we've been in a train wreck," she said. "No kidding," said Jack. They'd both lost their pointy shoes and their coats were torn and dirty. "At least we have our emerald rose," said Annie. "And Morning Breeze is back with her baby." "Mission done," said Jack. "So let's go back to the treehouse," said Annie. "Yeah," said Jack. He looked around. "But where the heck is it?" I think the big field we came through is over there, said Annie, pointing. I hear a lot of bug noises. Let's look. Jack and Annie headed for the field. Ow! Ow! Weeds and rocks jabbed their bare feet. Jack just missed stepping on a large anthill. He and Annie picked their way through the scrubby forest until they came to the edge of the yellow field. The sounds of buzzing and chirping filled the air. The tall grasses rustled in the dry, hot wind. That's it, said Jack. So, to get back to the treehouse, we cross the field, then go to the dirt path, and then head back through the bazaar and down the road to the Red Fort. Got it! Got it, said Annie. I just hope we don't get eaten alive by bugs, said Jack, or get heat stroke, or get clobbered by those angry guys in the bazaar, or... Enough, said Annie, grinning. One thing at a time. Come on, don't be a chicken. The bugs are more afraid of us than we are of them. Run! Annie and Jack started running through the dry, dusty field. Their torn silk coats billowed behind them. Jack could feel grasshoppers and all sorts of buzzy, jumpy things bashing against him, but nothing really hurt. His feet crushed the dry and tough grass, until he and Annie finally reached the dirt path. Yes, we made it, Annie said, out of breath. Oh, look! Jack was burning up. He felt dizzy. Whew! Look, Annie said again. She grabbed Jack and pointed to a farmer hauling hay. The farmer was talking to an imperial guard in a horse-drawn carriage. It was the same guard who had escorted them to the great mogul's balcony. The farmer pointed back at Jack and Annie. The guard turned and saw them. Oh no! He must be searching for us, said Jack. Hide! But it was too late. The guard had jumped out of the carriage. He was striding towards the edge of the field. Stop, ambassadors from Frog Creek, he called. Jack held his breath as he and Annie waited for the guard. The guard looked about as he approached them. Where is the elephant? He asked. She threw us off, said Annie. Yeah, and then she ran away, said Jack. He pointed to the right, where Annie pointed to the left. But the guard didn't seem to care about the elephant, nor did he seem to care about their bare feet and torn coats. You must come with me, he said gruffly. Why? Asked Jack. The guard wrapped his hand around the hilt of his sword. Because you do not know. You will be put in jail for the rest of your life, he said. Oh no, said Jack. That's a pretty good reason. Ooh, that's the end of the chapter. Wow. There were some pretty important and pretty cool things that happened in that chapter. So I want you guys to turn to your next journal entry. I want you guys to illustrate a super awesome event that you remember from the chapter, okay? So illustrate that and label it if you could, and then I would love to see some writing. Write your very best sentence or two about what happened in that event. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that reading, and we will finish that story up tomorrow. All right, guys, have a great day. Adios.